So today we welcome Jill ULVESTAD to the Convert with Confidence Summit. Jill, I want to welcome you to the summit. Jill is the founder and managing partner of Funnel Clarity, which is a sales training, consulting, and strategy company. She leads Funnel Clarity coaching practices and every day is grateful to be able to do what she loves and both her vocation and avocation. She is also feverishly committed to the success of women in sales. So Jill, I want to welcome you to the summit. And I want to first ask you, what motivates you to do the work that you do to help women business owners?
Well, my initial aspiration was going into banking. And when that dream actually wasn't fulfilled, through interviews and trying a couple times, I found myself in sales. And one of the things that I learned over the tenure of my time in sales is that there's actually more to it than anyone typically thinks. So often we end up doing what we do on a daily basis. And the more we learn, the more we can improve, the more successful we can be. So that's really what led me to do what I do today around coaching and really analyzing sales at a level that we do each and every day. So glad to help out in any way that we can.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure this word is intimidating, or especially for a lot of new coaches and consultants who are just starting out in their business. And I love how you pointed that out. Like sales it's such a process and there's so many different ways to do it. And I'm sure you being an expert in funnels, I can almost imagine already or hear some questions coming up about we might think there's this magical funnel, like which is the right funnel for me. I've seen this person make six figures, this person makes 7 or 30,000 a month. Or how do we know, what is the right funnel for us? What should we consider before we start going through and setting up an entire funnel?
That's such a great question. And it's interesting, this week alone, we've talked about the difference between a sales process, a sales funnel, how a buyer makes a decision. And what's interesting is all we want to do is satisfy what the customer is asking for. We want to be successful and deliver on that expectation. And yet, as business owners, as coaches, as consultants, we have to build that funnel up. And just because we do something and take these steps and go through what we know we need to do in order to sell someone something doesn't mean they're going to buy. And so the more accurate and specific we can be from a qualification standpoint related to our funnel is going to make us more successful because we'll be aligned with the buyers that are actually going to make a purchase, who are going to help us be successful and really drive that revenue for us month over month, time after time, year after year.
How do you qualify using a funnel? I know a lot of it's in the messaging, but what are also some other things you look for in a successful funnel?
So, and I love that successful funnel. What is a successful funnel? It's one that's actually clean and one that is pristine. We all want a pristine funnel. Many of them are literally larded with hopes and wishes and dreams. And too much time is spent on opportunities or conversations or individuals who really aren't making a decision. And so as business owners, coaches, and consultants, time is our biggest asset. So if we can actually spend time with the people that are really considering what we're offering, that's critical. But we can be asking questions throughout that sales process, not just once. Is this an opportunity? Can we compete? Can we win? And can we deliver on the expectation and the value that that customer is expecting is going to make the difference between us being successful and even renewing ongoing customers. So think of it as qualification as a process, not just a step. And the cleaner we can get our funnel in terms of accurately knowing where our customers are and really making a decision, the more successful we can be.
I'm so glad you pointed that out, that not everybody is going to buy. Because I think we get excited. We're like, oh my God, this is the magical program. This is it. Everybody's going to want this. And I don't know how many times I've put something out, only it's crickets.
Yeah.
And then we often go inside and we beat ourselves up. We're like, oh, nobody cares, or our program isn't good enough, when really it's this, right? Like we're spending a lot of time with people who are not our qualified customers. And I've actually gotten on the phone with people who are in like my Facebook group who have said, oh, I had no intention of buying anything, which I was like, whoa.
Which it would be great if everybody was that clear and that articulate, and that, it helps us to know where to spend that time. But to your point, Lydia, that is, I think, the most frustrating part about it. We spend too much time with people that might engage with us, but we're always not exactly clear what question are they asking. And one of the best studies done not too long ago, it was pretty recent, where 4 companies simultaneously, separate companies, looked at the exact same thing and came up very close with the same results, which was how our prospects are segmented. And at any given time, 56.5% of our prospects are actually happy. They're satisfied. They really are just doing their thing. Think of them as dormant for now. 3% of our prospects are actually looking for someone to solve the problem that we can help them with. So they are looking for a solution right in our sweet spot. And then there's this number, 40.5, that are frustrated or maybe seeing another path to heaven, but aren't actively looking. So if we can get in tune with, are they in the 3% and buying, the 40.5 and maybe frustrated, maybe a little bit thinking about it, we actually have 13 times more opportunities to talk to them, to bring them into maybe making a purchase. But the way we talk about them in each of those 3 different segments is really important. We can be successful by talking about frustrations in the 40.5, and because they're asking, should I? Whereas in the 3%, they're asking, with whom should I do this with?
Yeah. And I think a lot of them, which I found, who were not qualified customers, are people who were asking, like, is it still possible? Because I found that people who are still asking, is it still possible? Like, is it still possible for me to have a happy relationship, or to lose 30 pounds, or whatever the goal is, whatever you as a coach you're teaching. It's like, I had to do so much more work on helping them just get over that bridge of like, yes, it's possible. So now we can work together. But I found that to be so draining. So I love this idea of breaking down, especially, and this is really part of niching down, right? Like, who we're talking, are we talking to the person who's, I don't believe it's possible yet, but they're kind of sitting back, they're watching, they're sort of open, but they're not going to buy anything anytime soon. But then these other groups that are just frustrated, and it's just a matter of time.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So we focus on the frustration and make that a little bit more present, and help them think through it's never going to get better. We know that. Rarely does something that is frustrating really work itself out. So time, impact, others that have experienced the same thing, insights, trends, things that they want to hear about, because they're not ready for the solution, but this issue isn't going to go away. Whereas if the intent to act is the difference. Is there an intent to actually work on that problem? Is there an intent to actually take action to say, I'm going to do something different down the road, and I'm going to figure out how to get there, which is where we want all of our buyers to be. That's the fun stuff. We're helping them along the way with our solution.
How do you know who those people are? Is it just a matter of like, hey, I put out a $5 ebook, or I put a $47 course, and those people are taking action? Is that how we know? Is this, they're buying like maybe smaller things, or is there other things we should look out for to know that we're talking to like a more qualified prospect?
Yeah. I think what's interesting is it's unique for each individual to define for them, what does qualified look like for their particular offering or what they do. And some people can actually speak to them a little bit earlier in the 40.5 and bring them around because they have so much knowledge, data, information that would say, here's why this is actually going to get worse before it gets better. And if we do it sooner, you can create a little bit of urgency to get them into saying, I am actually going to make a purchasing decision. And yet, if we can understand and ask questions, they'll respond. What's interesting is if you ask the right question around a frustration and they respond very easily to that versus what they're looking for and how they'll know, they can't answer that yet.
Yeah.
I can talk to my frustrations all day long, but I can't tell you what is important to me or how I'm going to make this decision because I haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you say are the top 3 biggest mistakes you see like coaches and consultants make when they're setting up a digital funnel? I'm sure I'm already going to be raising my hand as you go down these.
Not at all. No, I think we are also impassioned by what we do and how we do it. And we know that if we can engage with somebody, we're going to really help them. And I know that's the motivation for why we do what we do every day. Yet, if the one thing is I'm talking to people that aren't really in the 3% and they're not going to take that next step. So we spend a lot of time with the wrong people, too long, because they are talking to us. And then the second thing is, because I know that I usually will have a conversation, I might give them a little bit of insight or or maybe it's a demonstration for some people. And then I give them pricing and a proposal, and then we move on to the next step. A lot of mistakes that are made is if I just do those 4 things, I'm going to get business. When actually we got to really look at what is that question that buyer is asking? Are they that far along with me? And is this the right next step? So instead of pushing my agenda onto them, because that's what I know I need to do, listen more to the customer about what are they asking and how can I help them with that question?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. I think a lot, oftentimes, yeah, we are so excited and we know we can help. And then we kind of throw up all over them and we're like, we end up convincing and going off our list. And I don't know where I heard this. I've probably heard this from multiple sources, but they said, don't try to sell people on what you think you can help them with. Like, what do they actually want? Not what do you want them to achieve? What do they want? Like literally down to the words that they use. Right.
Absolutely. I love that. Yep.
And then Jill, you talk about this value-based selling. And I remember reading these words and I was like, okay, I have an idea of what this might be, but can you talk a bit about why it's important to create value and not just go after the sale? Because I know I've been guilty of this. And this is probably, again, we're kind of going back and talking about what we are focusing on here is like just going right for the sale. Let me just put out my offer, my course, here's a class coming up. And then nobody, people kind of sit around and get crickets. So can you tell us more about this value-based selling and what are some ways we can create more value as we send prospects through our funnel?
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah. Isn't it funny? Create value, grow taller, be better. What is that? Often we always wonder, what does that mean? And yet we all want to do it. So when we think about creating value on any sales call or for any of our customers, it's helping them with a problem that they may not know exists. It's helping them think about the problem on the horizon. It might be helping them think through a solution that they didn't even know was possible. If we provide our prospects or our customers with insights, trends, and what their peers are experiencing, we're bringing information and different perspectives to them that they wouldn't have otherwise. So when we think about creating value, if you've ever been asked, and I'm sure Lydia, you have been shared that if you've asked them a question and they say, oh my God, that's such a great question, you've just created value because they've never thought of that before. So when people say, oh, I had an aha moment or I connected the dots, if we can proactively think about what is it that I can connect with my prospect, I'm going to be more successful creating value for them in that exchange.
Yeah, I think oftentimes we think when we create value, and at least what comes up for me is like, oh, let me give them another thing. Let me like, meaning, let me give them another ebook, or let me give them
Mhm.
a free, consultation, or it's like just giving them things. And we don't think about actually the psyche and what their psyche needs for
Yes.
them to even want to utilize a free ebook, or a 15-minute course, or audio, or whatever it is, right?
Absolutely. Yes. I usually think about the ebook as the icing on the cake or the bow on the present. Everything else is about because each of us has so much knowledge, insight, and experience. That's why they're engaging with you. And if we can bring that to bear, we're going to be more successful with them.
Yeah, I mean, what good is giving them a free whatever ebook, or mini course, or whatever? It's like, if they don't care, if they don't
Yes.
see a reason to look at it or to use it. And I know it's people, this group is often, there's a lot of anxiety around talking about money, or charging people for their services, or even just for a product that we are creating. But in your own words, Joe, why is it important to have that transaction of that? Let's say we're sending them through a digital funnel to go buy something that's, I don't know, like a $4.97 for like an ebook. Why is that money transaction important, even if it's like $5?
Right. Absolutely. Yes. Because there is a value placed on it. So I will accept anything that's freely offered to me. But if I want, and it's interesting, there's a principle called customers value what they ask for more than what they are freely offered. And customers value what they conclude more than what they're told. So we as people often just tell people things, or tell our customers things. But if our customers conclude it, they appreciate that, they value that more. And similarly, if I, as a customer, ask for something and invite it and pay for it, I value that. So yeah, I'll take anything that's free, but I may not really appreciate it. And it doesn't connect back to something I care about. So if we can connect back to the outcomes and success that somebody is seeking, they will see the value and connect the value to the price that we are asking for. So absolutely. So if I'm giving a price, but I don't know what that outcome is or what success looks like for my customer, I'm going to be missing. I won't know exactly if I've succeeded in that.
Yeah. It's like, I know Tony Robbins has that quote, what is it, where attention goes, energy flows. But also, I think this applies to money, like where money goes, your attention's going to go.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
What was coming up while you were talking was, I think it's probably more in the messaging than anything else, right? Because I can, like, let's just say I set up a funnel to say, hey, who wants to lose, I don't know, 10 pounds, right? I think we're going to have a ton of people raise their hand, right? But when we say like, well, who wants to lose 10 pounds this year so that you can be, feel comfortable on the beach, or confident in a swimsuit, right? I think what's coming up is it's probably more about the messaging, right? That will get that person to click to the next page, or click to the next step, or to even enroll or register. So is there more to it than that when they're going through a funnel? Is it
well, yes. So one of the things that you can also be thinking about, whether we pose the question, we can pose these questions on the website, or we can actually ask them if we're engaged with them in a conversation. Before they're ready to commit, what you'll hear is, I'd like to, I might, I'm thinking about, it would be great if, as opposed to, I'm in it, I need to, I am. They're much more action oriented with what I'm currently doing and how I'm approaching it. So in the funnel, there's very clear steps that a buyer goes through from a customer decision journey. And if I'm engaged with them and they're committed to correct or take action against, whatever problem that you can solve from a coach or a consulting standpoint, they first start with thinking about, how do I address this and why now? They can answer that, and what good looks like, and how they'll make this decision and how they'll compare you with others. So through that journey and in my funnel, I can be with them knowing that I'm not too far ahead and giving them price when I shouldn't because they can't connect the dots back.
Yeah.
Or I'm actually behind them because they're about to sign or sign up with somebody different. And I need to help them see why I might be better aligned and connect to the things they care about. So there are very specific things we can do throughout the funnel to be more successful and win that business time and time again.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of dating, right? It's like, hey, we just met. Do you want to sign up for my $6,000 program? How about now?
Absolutely.
That was a metaphor. A coach of mine, credits to DD Kai for that analogy. But I'm thinking like this is probably the whole point of the funnel, right? Is to warm them up and to qualify, right? It's not saying like these people are good or not good. It's just like, are they the people we want to serve?
Yes, yes, yes. And for every business is going to have different layers. Every sales process is different. Every funnel is going to be different because of that engagement. There may be indicators that they visit the website, 8 times, download certain things, they get closer, they're asking a question, they post something on a chat question. That they're engaged for a reason. It's worth having the conversation to really understand and connect the dots. For those that actually have the sales process and they're talking in a series of meetings, there are very predictable steps that those individuals go through to process, is this right for me right now? And they know why. They can articulate those things. So it can be very scientific if we put the effort to it to make it easier for us and to make us more successful overall.
Yeah. Does it make a difference how long or short the funnel is? Like I'm being totally ignorant in this space. Is it like the longer the process, the better, or can you have a successful, like really short funnel? Does it matter? Is it more about like the messaging and the,
yes. We can have some sales funnels that last a year or 6 months or 3 months. There are some sales funnels that can be very quick because the customer is going through a very, very sequential process in short periods of time. And depending on what that looks like for my offering or my services, what's most important out of all of that is what's going on with the buyer. I can shorten that if I can be really condensed and be very effective in between. That's the best thing for all of us involved. But it really stems from what the buyer is thinking, asking, and how they're engaging with you.
Yeah. What is it? I'm just really curious. What is a year-long funnel?
Oh.
What is that? Where is that going to? I'm just really curious.
Manufacturing companies, Boeing, different sales cycles that can last, financial services, big projects that take a long time.
Wow. So these are probably more, I guess, maybe $1 billion negotiations or $1 million negotiations.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Crazy.
Wow. That's incredible. I would love to get like a peek at that, or but well, just sign up for their newsletter or whatever. Right?
There you go.
So Jill, as we wrap up here, do you have one tip you can offer this audience in terms of setting up an effective marketing funnel? Like what's maybe the number one most important thing to consider for this group being, been in business for a while, they're kind of plateaued. They're like, okay, I'm ready to start creating passive income. What would be the most important thing to consider? Like maybe before we even go down this rabbit hole?
Absolutely. One, I'd say the most important thing to remember is that customers and buyers move through their decision journey, and we cannot force them. We cannot push them. It's up to them in the questions that they're asking. And as sellers, our ability to map our solution and the outcome they want is the difference between success and failure. Marketing's job is to draw people to the boat. Sales job is to bring those fish into the boat. And everyone complains about the disconnect between marketing and sales. And that disconnect can easily be solved when there's a clear understanding and focus on the 40.5% related to what they sell.
Wow. that just like our light bulbs going off for you guys just from hearing that, like separating those two, that now really it helps put that attention on both of those important pieces. Because I think as as business owners and consultants, we're so focused on the sales strategy, the sales strategy, the sales strategy. Where's that script? How do I close? How do I do this? And we forget about all the stuff before, and including your website. I think it didn't click or register for me until I realized, I was like, oh my gosh, my website is part of the funnel.
Yes, bring people to you. How do I get them in there? Exactly.
Yeah. Seeing it as a process versus like like go right to the sale. I think one book that really helped me, and I don't know, Jill, if you read it, but like Intro to Systems Thinking, just getting into like systems thinking and kind of helps break up that process of like where people coming in and then what are they doing when they're in there, and then where are they exiting.
Absolutely. No, I haven't, but I will read that. That's a great suggestion.
Awesome. Well, Jill, I want to thank you so much for joining us in the summit. And I know Jill has a couple free gifts here for those of you attending. So be glad you did. So Jill, I know you have the lead qualification clarity ebook and also a special bonus for the first 10 people who go get this ebook. So Jill, if you can tell us more about that and where they can go to get that.
Sure. So the ebook is all about expanding a little bit more about what we talked about today. So more about qualification and how it relates to the funnel. So if you like to learn a little bit more about that, it really details it out in a little bit more specificity. And then you can find that at our website, which is funnelclarity.com, right below here. So right here, you can grab it. And what it will help is detail further some of the things that we talked about today. So thinking about qualification, that market segmentation, and how it might apply to your business and how you're engaging with your customers. And for those first 10 that might download it, love to spend some time with you, about 15 minutes, in which to provide some insights around that qualification and really wrapping it around what you're doing and some quick fixes that might be able to be very helpful in a very short period of time.
Absolutely. Awesome. So scroll to the bottom of this page, go click the link to go get the lead qualification clarity ebook. If you're scrambling around, your funnel isn't working, you don't even know where to start with the funnel, this is a free gift. And this link is only going to be available for the next 48 hours. And for only the first 10 people get this bonus insight call. So this is a one-on-one strategy call with Jill, so you can get clarity on what will be, I'm guessing, like the most effective funnel for you, how to connect with your niche, depending on what that is, the size of your niche and what you're trying to sell as well. So this is everything you need to get started if you're ready to create passive income, scale your business to 6 or 7 figures. So scroll down, click the link, go get the ebook, go grab one of Jill's 10 free 15-minute sessions. And Jill, I want to thank you so much for joining us on the summit today.
Yeah, thank you so much. This has been a lot of fun. So really appreciate it and look forward to connecting again. Thank you so much.
Thanks everyone for joining.